you've seen these stones in before, but we've now added a few onto this bank. So this is a bank, just the inside of the pond, and these stones are our access route up. So we know we're going to have to do some planting and get to derailments and things like that. So the point of these is that you can get up to get to these areas. But what we're finding over time is that the soil on the bank, which will be planted, we've got some in, but we haven't planted all of it yet, was sort of working its way down and covering the stones a little bit. So we've put these walls in. These aren't cemented in, they're just basically just dry stone walled, bit of soil around them and things like that. But that just allows us to get that level higher up to get some planting on and still keep these uncovered. And we've put a couple more in as well for more access with a bit more stone on top. I've not fully decided yet whether I'm going to do that on this one or whether it's just a feature one really, because those are really the ones to stand on. But we've then started to put a few plants in around the top, a few more ferns. These ones should grow, sort of come down and come over these stones as well, to make a nice feature. And then we've got more heathers on the way to do the rest of the bank here, so it will be covered up. But yeah, that's what we've done on that bank. The other thing we've done stone wise is using some of the leftover stone flags, and we've put them in the lawn. And we've done it at this point here because this is your traffic route in and out, and this is going to get puddly if we don't do something. So just a few stepping stones to get out, and then once you're out you can then spread out onto the lawn. These two underneath where the bridge is going between the two track ends, these are going to be cemented in, so those aren't, they're just sat in the lawn packed round with soil. These ones are going to cement in, and they're probably going to be a little bit higher up, although I'll try and bring, which is why that one's a bit higher up already, the levels and everything smooth so they're in a trip. But the point of having these higher is because at this side where I'm stood now is going to be gravel, and we don't want the gravel to get onto the lawn all the time. So bringing them up, the gravel then can just be at the bottom side of them, and it hopefully will stop as much gravel going over the top of them. And it actually looks quite nice having the two, managed to find some that will just nicely fit together, a bit of trimming and things between the two walls. It's almost looking like a threshold of an old building or something.
It does look a little bit like that, yeah.
Yeah, with the two wall ends, so that looks quite nice. So those will have to go in at some point, but I'm probably going to do those at the same time as the path, because then I can get all my heights, which I haven't done anything with the path.
No, it is going to move towards the wall.
The path is going to be in the middle, yes, towards this wall.
This wall,
not that wall.
Yeah.
With gravel either side, so that yeah, you're walking down the middle of it. But
it's quite a big job, and
it's quite a big job, and we'll get around to it at some point.
We've not been brave enough to do it yet.
That's... No. So then, the other end of the garden, we've got a few more of these, so we'll go have a look at those.
Well, I might show the bank while we're, because it's progressing quite nicely as the planting, or the fields.
Yeah.
As they are, they're really starting to look green now.
Yeah.
The lawn chamomile at this end has definitely spread out quite a lot, but this was the first one in. It seems very happy.
So there's bits and pieces of weeding we keep having to do out of the soil, but yeah, it's filling up nicely. We've got a few more. We just keep putting one or two plants and trees and conifers and things in at the back, but there's more to go in.
And the Irish moss, because it is Irish moss, not as what I said a couple of videos ago.
Yeah.
It is Irish moss.
This is spreading out now.
We've gone from teeny tiny little plants to quite significant ones now.
So we'll have to see, at some point we might separate them up, split them and spread them out a bit to get a bit more of an even coat across it, but that might, we'll see how it goes in winter. I don't really want to be changing it too much now we're getting into winter.
Oh, you've done a bit of extra landscaping on this
bank. I've added a little bit on top.
Made a bit of a lump.
Because actually all of the bank had slightly sunk, which obviously we expected, as the soil settles in and everything, so I added a little bit more to the top edge, and also made this a bit higher than the track. Now I might do a bit more of that, I might vary the heights and things over time, but I'll let the plants and everything get growing on the bank so that it's a bit easier to stand on and stops all the soil from just falling down. Whenever you do anything on the top, it all wants to cascade off, so plants will hold it in place once they've grown a bit. But yeah, it just gives a bit of a different edge at the top there.
Yeah, I don't know how well it actually shows up on camera, but it is higher than the track at that point there. And yeah, so more lawn chamomile. This one went in like a day or two later actually. So, but I don't know whether it just gets more sunshine at that end over there.
I think it does. Yeah, this one's not growing as fast.
It is growing though.
So we'll just have to keep an eye on this
and
section.
Then the moss
but it is
getting taken over by what looks like clover mostly, but it's green.
But
so
it's the moss is happy.
It's happy.
I keep trimming my road through so that it keeps that clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need more soil on this bit, but I've only got so much soil at the minute, so
yeah, we need more
that all
soil.
just needs a bit. Same at the far side as well. Needs a bit more soil in there.
It does. But yes, down this end, you have made
more stone.
A lovely little path.
And flags. So you'll have seen a few episodes ago we did this section with gravel, and that's all well and good because you're going to be standing around here. But to get to this, you're going to come down this narrow. Well, it's not that narrow.
It's not that narrow, no.
This part of the lawn, which again, especially at the bottom end here, because it's going to get water runoff along the fence line, was going to get wet and puddly if we're not careful. So we've put these stones in so that you walk on those and it hopefully keeps the grass a bit better. Whether it will stay grass, whether it will go mossy or some other thing down this end, I'm not too worried about here. I'll try and keep that section as grass, but I'm not as fussed about what this turns into, as long as it's just copes for foot traffic and doesn't grow up too high.
It looks nice. I like the path. And then this morning,
yes,
yesterday and this morning, I suppose.
Yes, we didn't film anything yesterday because despite the fact it was warm-ish for October, because we're now actually in October.
We are. It did try and blow us away.
It was really windy. So
you wouldn't have heard a thing.
So way back we put the first bit of track in, which was these couple of points, which are now out. Because we've changed our mind. No, we have changed our mind. But
we've just come up with a better idea.
We've come up with a better idea. So we've put longer radius points in on this section because the track that's coming through the quarry over here, we have actually managed to get 4 foot radius, and we'll have a long radius point at that end, which I didn't originally plan for. Which means we might as well, to make the whole thing completely 4 foot compatible, we're going to put the long radius points in here. That then also gains us a bit more length on this siding.
It gains us another siding, yep.
Yep. Well, there was always a siding here, but it was a short one.
Yeah, but it was about big enough for a loco, and that was about it.
Yeah. The plan then is to just tuck it round this end here, depending what I do with this top track, but that'll be a later stage. But it just gives a little bit more length here. So I've got a little bit more, fill these gaps in, but I'm not screwing these points down now. And then around here, amongst the mess that is laying this track, you'll see we've got the 2 points in for the quarry. So this one's the quarry point, which will be heading off, and where the post is stuck up in the quarry will be a turntable, a little mini truck turntable, and a few lines off that. This track here is probably not going to be Pico sleepers. We'll probably come up with some lighter.
It's not designed to be run on all the time, so
no, more lighter rail in that section. But I've just sat there now, just sort of giving me a line when I was going in there. But this one coming through is the one we're talking about down there being 4 foot. When you're running straight through these points, because obviously these aren't 4 foot, they're 38-inch radius. So yeah, and then the other one's in here. This section of track in here isn't quite right yet because it's just going a bit too much, so I'll probably take that's a set piece out, and put a bit of flexi in because it doesn't need to be that tight. But that allows you to come around this loop. There will eventually be a track in that way and that way, or into that point rather, with the point down here.
yeah.
But for now, because I need to build a crossing here, I'm going to leave this one out and just bring that track onto here, because that's a more useful line to have than to come off here and go around the loop, because you can actually just go around there and go out the loop. The reason for having this one is if somebody stopped on this line, because that's it's not the running line, this is the running line, people can stop in here if they want, and you can then bypass them and get onto the running line quicker. So it will be useful, but that's more useful for now, so we'll put that in.
Although technically that back line that it comes off is the running line anyway, so it's actually quite a rare thing you'd come off that point there.
Yes, it's if you want to just run round here and somebody's parked in there, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, it's more of a feature.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got to fit this point in here somewhere to get a nice line up with that.
Eventually.
Which I did try yesterday, but that'll go in there at some point today.
Oh, you're going to put that in today?
Yep, well that gets that whole line through there then done.
Oh yeah, of course you want. Yeah, I was thinking you were putting the other one.
No, this one.
I will shut up. You've just explained all that.
Just explained it. Listen, listen, assistant.
Yes.
That one's going in.
That one's going in.
Not that one.
Yep.
Yeah, and that gets us down there. And then we'll see what else we managed to do today.
Weeding, probably.
Bit of weeding.
I think that's what I'm doing.
Bits and pieces. Yes.
Now, as for
by the way, the windmill.
Oh yes, the windmill's not broken.
No, it needs a new bearing, and because it was windy yesterday, it was annoying me.
It was rattling quite a lot.
So
yes.
We'll put it back together now.
As for the new plants, we've put so many new plants in over the past couple of days.
Yes, there's bits and pieces all over.
That I might just try and put some photos up with names, and I'll put a list of the names of the plants we've got in the description for the video, just as a list of possibilities that you can use.
Yep.
Because otherwise it's going to take me half an hour for the video just to put plant names in. So but yeah, everything's starting to got all sorts of little plants, so there's those 3 in there, which I have no idea what any of them are, so I'm not even going to try.
No.
And there's lots of little ones appeared dotted around all over the place.
Yeah, and this bank's starting to fill up. I think this end I'm happy with.
Yeah.
I think that end's about the right level. The top I think wants to come up more. So the ones on the top probably get moved, because we talked very early on about having Coalstone's Cut, which is a local landmark near us, on top. And for Coalstone Cut, it's a viewing platform into a quarry, and currently you'd struggle to see the quarry.
You would, yes.
Because you're lower, with a bit of stone in the way.
We might make our own version of Coalstone Cut.
Oh yeah. But it needs to come up, possibly even another half a foot or something, but certainly level with the top of the quarry stones, and then slope off. So there's more soil to go in there yet. Got to the end of the day, and we've managed to get this bit of track down and a bit of gardening done as well, which we'll show you in a minute. But this bit of track now through the quarry, although it's only got the point off into the quarry, comes off here, off the running line, which means you can come off the running line at this point, pull into here, service your loco without having to go into the station if somebody else is steaming up, and still allows people to come through. So we've got that one in. As discussed earlier, we haven't put the one in between these 2 points, but the 2 points are in, because at some point I'll make a crossing to go in here, but for now this piece of track is in. So then we come, that's a good start, isn't it? That was just me. So we come across these 2 short radius points, which one comes round from the station and the other one is the one into the quarry line, which that bit of track's not fixed down because we'll replace that later on with some lighter rail. But all the way through, so as you're coming through all this, this is all on a larger radius, so 4 foot's the tightest bit. because we're just running through the straight at the short radius point. And then we come round here, just skim past this stone that we put in. We'll have to just check clearances on this bottom little bit because it's a little bit closer in than originally intended, but hopefully it all misses, and we do like things just running nicely past like that. And then the two long radius points in to get it back into the running line, which means you've then got this longer siding which will be extended later on. The other thing we've put in is another point here off the running line, and it's done so that actually you're running down this way, because we're going to have a constant we're going to have a sprung point, so it's always going to go around this way, so you'll actually back into this line. It is a little bit tight on clearances, so you're only actually clear from about this point here, so you've not got a very long side in here, and the other end of it is just sort of temporarily put into this flower bed here for the minute. But the thinking is we'll probably put a building or little engine shed or something in here just to break up between the two lines, and so you can actually just bring an engine or something and sit it in there to cool, or if you've got a smaller diesel you'll be able to go a bit in here. But that's why that line's in the middle. It just looked bigger gap, quite a big gap to fill with something or other, so we thought we'll put a track in, get an engine shed at some point, a little one, and that'll look quite nice there. So yeah, that's all in down to here, all back to where the track was existing. So then the other thing we've been doing is a little bit of planting that Nicky's mainly been doing, so we'll walk around and have a look at that. So although we're not 100% certain on quite whether we've got this banked to the right level, we probably will come up. We have planted some bits in, and these have all come from actually plant pots that we had around the front of the garden that we've probably neglected to put anything decent in, but different mosses and things, and we believe this is a variation of iris moss.
I think so. From what I tried to find out, it appears to be, yes.
So it's obviously got into the pots at some point, probably sat round when they planted it up with something else.
And has thrived.
Yeah, just took over.
There's loads of
pots,
it.
which is fine by us because it stopped any weeds growing, or majority of them anyway. So we've broken those up from those pots and put a few bits in along here. There's a few bits further down as well, and we will see if it wants to grow on here. And it'll probably have to be dug off at some point when we put a bit more soil on here, but it doesn't take much to dig it back out, so, and you don't seem to be able to sort of damage it by moving it.
No, it seems to be pretty resilient stuff.
Yeah. You've also been splitting some of the other ones that are on here, which is...
Well, it was actually the one further.
Ferns, I can't remember what
the
they're
one
called.
Closer to the rock is what.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those
so split
three
some
there.
more up here.
They are, I think, Leptinella. If that's wrong, I will put it on the screen.
Yeah, that does sound right actually.
But I think that's right.
And then that one is another moss, but it has a different name.
Lime
moss.
Lime moss.
Lime moss.
I didn't actually split that one in the end because
right.
I think it needs to grow a bit more first.
Yeah, yeah, but we split it when we got it. So we'll just keep doing that to get it to spread out across the bank.
But that fern stuff definitely can split fairly easily.
Yeah, and then other than that...
I've been splitting mint.
Yes. Well, we've weeded a bit more down here.
I have weeded this entire bank.
Yep, it doesn't look right on this section to be fair to you, but...
There's so much in the moss and it's really hard to get out.
Yeah. But anyway, that's some more.
You've put a new plant in, this little pale one.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to work out what that's called.
Yeah, the label is down there.
Right, that's okay.
But yeah, we've split some of the Corsican mint on the top.
Yes, and that stuff just seems to reroot itself on every little tendril, so we're going to have a lot of that.
Yep. And,
so I've split it all over these little bits of green fuzziness along the bottom of the trees are all Corsican mint.
Yeah.
I've split
and
off.
We've got a bit more of that unknown, possibly iris moss variation down this section here that's sort of
some
moss,
of it's moss,
and
some of it's Irish
proper moss and some of it's Irish moss.
So it's all planted down there now.
So it can spread out into those little bits, and we'll just keep it clear of the tracks. Once it's ballasted, it'll be easier then to cut because it won't get underneath the track as much. But yeah, put it all down there, and just trying to spread out the plants a little bit and get it covered to give it that green look.
It is starting to go very nicely green, so
yeah,
it's looking good.
Yeah.
We haven't really touched anything on the waterfall end,
no,
other than actually running the waterfall.
yes.
We did run the waterfall there.
Which we haven't done in a while.
Run the waterfall for a while. It's been a long day.
But, there you go. So I've no idea what we're going to do next.
Well, it's back to work tomorrow.
Well, alright. I meant in the garden.
We've got a week to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so might be the end of this episode. It might not be. We might do a bit more. I have no idea.
We're so far behind on editing now that I've no idea what episode we're even on right now.
Yeah.
The magic of editing, we'll work that one out later.
So, see you later.